Hello and welcome back to the Nothing Nothing Reports on the American Song Contest 2022. And we are now on episode 6, or the semifinals part 1. And just as a quick recap, we have now gone through every qualifier, and now the songs that have made that are now the top 22 songs are now up competing for their place in the final 10, which will air on the final in 2 weeks, or a week from this week. Because I'm filming this episode on Monday, May 2nd, like I normally do. So let us begin, shall we? First song of the night was Jordan Smith from Kentucky with Sparrow again. And just to quickly notify, from now on, I am also judging these songs. The ranking is now decided by song, performance on the stage, comparison to other songs on the night, and from the first performance of the song compared to the second. So, Sparrow, in my mind, sounded just about the same as the first episode. It was a little better sung, I think, but it wasn't by a huge amount. In my sheet score did not change. I originally gave him a 1. He still had a 1. And then coming in, the second song of the night was Riker and Lynch's "Field of Love" from Colorado. He improved. The song was much better than its first, and I think he finally proved, at least in my mind, that he can compete. But when I heard it the first time, it didn't seem like he was trying to compete. But once now that he made it through, he's like, okay, I'm competing now. He upped the performance game. He upped the song a little bit, and now it's really a competitor now. And then third on the night was Mari Fly. Oh, and just quickly, Field of Love went from 1 on week 1 to 2 on my list for week 2. And then we have Mari with Fly from New Hampshire. The song is actually worse in my mind than the first round. She seemed out of tune, out of key, something. Or she suddenly had nerves or something came up because she did not sound as good. And as a result, she went from having 1 in week 1 to X, which basically means, and I scored nothing. It wasn't even worth putting a point down. And then at number 4, we had Alan Stone with "A Little Bit of Both at the Same Time." The performance was much better. The song was much better. He got the crowd involved a little bit, so that helps. And this was the jury selection pick again. He got picked in his week, in his episode, and he got picked again. On my sheet, he originally had a 2, then he went to 3. And then coming in at number 5 is Niki/Co, The Difference from Alabama. This is the song, if you didn't watch my video of that week, where I called it the Muscle Shoals song. And I believe it was improved. Or actually, no, sorry. I believe that the stage design was improved. The performance was upped a little bit. Although when they did the song this time, it felt like it lost the Muscle Shoals sound to me. So I don't know if it was better. It was better harmonized too. So maybe it was just because of the harmony change that it just didn't sound Muscle Shoalsy anymore or whatever. But on my sheet, they remained at 2 for both weeks. Okay, and then next up we had Ryan Charles with New Boot Goofin from Wyoming. It sucked still. I hate this song with a passion, but because of its success on TikTok and social media, that's what brought it here. So yeah, I did not change my ranking. It was still flat out X, so 0 basically. And then let me quickly mention the second jury resurrected song was Inessa's "Green Light" from episode 3, or qualifier round, the third qualifier, and will be on tonight's episode. And then after New Boot Goofin came out, Hueston, the first jury pick on the first episode with Held On Too Long from Rhode Island. He really didn't improve in my mind. The singing sounded a little worse. Might have just been nerves. But the stage design was still pretty the same. There really wasn't too much change. It didn't seem like he tried to get the crowd in at all, although he did take whatever he was wearing off. I forget what it was. I think he was wearing a jacket and he took it off a little later on. And then performing at 8 was Jonah Prill with Fire It Up from Montana. The song was fine still. It sounded the same as the first time. The set was redesigned. The stage design was reset. So it was more like sitting around the campfire mentality. And that's what I think they should have went for the first time. Because he said that was the idea of the song. That it was supposed to be like a song you'd sing around a campfire, or like you just made it up on the spot kind of thing. And then coming at number 9, we have Leann with Natalie from Michigan. Again, we don't talk about that state up north where I'm at. This is the Taylor Swift sounding singer. She sounded worse tonight, last Monday. Yeah, she sounded worse. I did technically improve her score. She went from a 1 to 2, but it wasn't by much. And then just to go back real quick, Fired Up stayed at 1 for both weeks. Nikki Ko stayed the same. Fly went from 1 to 0. Yeah. And, yeah. Okay, so after that, we had number 10 was Jared Lee Shameless from Massachusetts. I don't know why I keep messing this up and said Missouri. It's Massachusetts. The song sounded pretty much the same. I really didn't hear any change. There wasn't really any set change or anything to really make a huge difference in my mind. And at that point, I didn't really feel like it was competing. So I kept it as 1. Same for both weeks. Then the last song of the night was, of course, Alexa with Wonderland from Oklahoma. This is the K-pop song I didn't like in the first episode. I still don't like it. Not a K-pop fan. But it was this night that really determined it for me. That why it's obvious I don't like it. Because it was very obvious. There was, because she was singing live. And there was obviously either she had backing vocals or she had more than one piece of backing vocal. And it was very obvious. Because when she was singing, you could hear it. It was very obvious. I did go from an X to 1 only because of performance aspect. She upped it a little bit. She went a little more risky. Not like unsafe content risky, but performance risky. Let's just say it that way. And with that in mind, out of the 11, who do I think are going to be saved? Other than Alan Stone, which has already been saved. My belief is it's going to be Wonderland, Held On Too Long, and Sparrow. Hold on. Sparrow and Feel the Difference from Nikki Ko. So that would mean that eliminated would be Fire It Up, Feel the Love, The Difference. Oh, not The Difference. The Shameless, Fly, Natalie, and New Boot Goofin. Although I will not be shocked if people vote for New Boot Goofin, and that's what saves that song again. Ugh. For the love of God, please don't vote for that song over again. But, yeah. So that means tonight we will have Christian Pagan, Michael Bolton, Chloe Fredericks, Broderick Jones, Grant Nucky, Tyler Brandon, Tanel, John Morgan, Sweet Taboo, and Inessa performing. And we will also get, of course, our first 5 to go through. We already have 1. Alan Stone. We'll get the final 4 that the people picked via the fans. It's just fans now. The jury does not matter on these picks. And 4 of those will go through. And then we'll have the jury guide picked tonight. And then before the finals, we'll have the final 4 added to that list of what will be 10 in the final finale. And then from there, we will have our winner. And I will, in the next episode, predict who I think is the winner. I don't want to predict it right now because it's still a little too early and I need to hear tonight's songs to be sure. And with that, I thank you for watching this update report by the Nothing Nothing, and I will hope to see you here again. And check out the playlist, the Nothing Nothing Reports, American Song Contest 2022, to catch up and hear what I previously thought about the previous the qualifiers, because now this is the important information for you to understand these for the future.